So it's actually 10:30. I was about to go to bed, but I'm still so irritated about what happened today that I decided to rant a bit first. We'll see if the video actually uploads. I'm gonna try to upload it straight from my phone instead of downloading it to the computer first, which doesn't generally work, but we'll see. If this video doesn't upload, whatever. You'll never see this message, so it doesn't matter. My throat, as far as the cold goes, it's basically over. My throat is just raspy, so my voice sounds really low, and also I'm trying to talk quietly. But so the day started out pretty well. I had already talked to my web developer friend the other day to schedule a time for us to have a video chat and talk about the future of Topless Topics and what I want to set up and everything like that. And one of the one of the projects that I had been wanting to set up was an e-commerce site page on the Topless Topics website where I could host my artistic nude, non-sexual nude photography that I've done in the past as a fundraiser kind of thing, where people can just buy the digital files directly instead of me either having to use fucking OnlyFans, which takes 25% of each cut, or Etsy, where I have to pay for each listing, and there's all these other like hoops I have to jump through, and stuff like that. And so she had me sign up for I can't remember the name of the app, but it's one that her group of other photography seller people recommended, and they use Stripe. And so I made a Stripe account, and I've heard of Stripe before because I see Stripe used all the time at like restaurants and like online vendors and stuff like that. And so I like very carefully made my account. I was like looking at all these different business options and everything, like category, like what should I list myself as. I made this account. She made one test entry that was a meme I made yesterday, where it's a photo of Venus de Milo, you know, that famous Greek sculpture from like 200 BC or something like that, where her arms have broken off and she's got like a robe, you know, covering her bottom half, and she's got heinous female nipples showing. I don't actually think she even has a nipple. I think it's just the breast because like the nipples wore off or something like that. But anyway, you know, classic nude Greek statue or whatever. So it's that, and then on the side there's a freeze frame of the head sand snake, I can't remember her name, in HBO, with this look of horror from, you know, when, spoiler alert, what's his name gets his head crushed in. Anyway, so it's this like face, and then above it is like, oh, how heinous and evil. I can't remember exactly what it says, but basically it's like, how can anyone deny that this is clearly intended for the purpose of sexual gratification, in reference to the Venus de Milo, slash some YouTube moderator probably saying that, whatever. So back to Stripe. So I made the Stripe account, and she made this test entry, like pretending that it was a real, you know, thing for sale on a page that wasn't, you know, nobody else knew about yet. And put it up. And that was it. That was the only entry that we had put up on this page that no one had seen. And it was this meme where the only nudity was a 2,000-year-old 2,500-year-old classical Greek sculpture photo of one. And then I got an email from Stripe saying that they determined that my content, I guess my website, because I hadn't posted anything, I don't know, they said that I was posting porn and adult content, and so they banned my account. And I filed an appeal, and they rejected the appeal. Sound familiar? Yeah, YouTube. And so I went on Twitter, and I took a screenshot of the email, and I said, you know, well, looks like at Stripe are, you know, keeping the patriarchy strong by saying that female nipples are porn, and it's bizarre because you know, again, I hadn't even put up any entries, so I don't know. Again, they must have just like taken a look at my website and immediately decided, oh, clearly this is a porn site and she's going to post porn. So anyway, I made the tweet, And then they replied and were like, oh, sorry, we're looking into this. DM us your info and we'll take another look. So I'm like, sure, whatever. So I DM them the email without my name redacted and, give them the other info or whatever. And then they say back on the DM that, oh, they've re-reviewed it and actually they restored it. Sorry for the mistake. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, we'll see. We'll see if you actually mean it. And then I, wasn't paying attention for a little bit. I watched some Bridgerton with my dad and everything like that. And then I got a new email from them. Email, not Twitter DM. Saying that they reviewed my account. And due to industry guidelines, I'd like to know what industry that is, they determined that my account does violate porn and adult content guidelines, and so they guidelines rules, I don't know, and so they are banning it. So I took a screenshot of that and I put it back in the DM, and the Stripe DM team were like, sorry, we'll take another look at it, we'll be in touch with you in the future. But I mean, they're just gonna, the interns on the DM side are obviously different than the people answering the emails. But it just kind of blindsided me because there are artistic photos of me, like, standing there in a toga holding flowers looking out at the water of the river. It's nothing with me like, or like opening my legs or like posing, dramatically or anything. And again, I hadn't even made any entries yet. I hadn't made any store items yet. So it's just them. They looked at my website for my, normalizing of topless equality, blah, 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 blah. And they just immediately said, this is porn, we're going to ban it. Anyway, so I shared it with my friend, my web dev friend, and she was like, well, that fucking sucks. We'll, see what other options we have. And so I did a little bit of Googling and, found lists of transaction people that allegedly allow, will work with sex workers. And as always, it fucking pisses me off because female nipples are not sex. They're not fucking the same as, fucking dicks and vaginas and actual escorts and stuff like that. And yet all these social media platforms and bank transaction companies and everything like that all treat it like it is. And it's just like, what the fuck? And yet you're fine with pictures of guns and gore and just like, this fucking country. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that, for the, oh, you're just making it up, you're not really getting banned that much, you just have a victim complex crowd. Well, got banned again. Didn't even post anything except for a meme where the only nudity was a 2,000-year-old Greek statue for quote-unquote porn. And another thing that's really weird to me is that Stripe has been revealed to be one of the vendors, the bank transaction people, whatever, that OnlyFans uses. And if you didn't know this, OnlyFans went through a thing less than a year ago, but not too long ago, where they suddenly announced that they were going to ban all porn. Because the banks were going, no, we don't want to do business with you if you're going to have the women nipples and the cocks and the toys and the halls, things going into the house. No. So OnlyFans decided, rather than not do business with like fucking Wells Fargo and shit, they were going to get rid of all the sex. And it's like, OnlyFans, that's what you're known for. That's the foundation of OnlyFans is sex work. I hate having to be on there, but as stuff like this shows, where the fuck else am I going to put my stuff? But yeah, one of their vendors is Stripe. And it's like, Stripe is working. Oh yeah, sorry. And then the second part is that there was so much public outcry that OnlyFans like changed their decision and said they're not banning porn after all. But anyway, somehow word has come out that Stripe is one of the vendors that OnlyFans uses. And the theory is that like they have different vendors for different functions, and like non-sex posts get sent using Stripe, and then actual sex posts get used something else. I don't know. But it's all just so weird. And like every fucking, every uh, American based or American focused financial transaction company or whatever all say that they ban adult content and, you know, porn and sex acts and stuff like that. And of course, adult content, what the fuck? Adult content somehow always means female nipples, but it doesn't mean guns. It doesn't mean, that's about it. It doesn't mean people getting choked to death. It's only nudity and actual sex that gets counted as adult. So fuck those vague ass terms. But like Cash App, for instance, Cash App I heard of a while ago, and it's like Venmo or whatever. And Friday, before I came down with this cold, a friend came down to visit, and we ended up going to a strip club, which was actually my first time at a strip club, and I will be doing a video like specifically about that in the future. It wasn't too exciting, which is kind of what I expected. Only reason I'm mentioning it is that as part of my research, and yes, it was research, I paid for him to get a lap dance, and then I paid for a lap dance for myself with two different women, and they both had us pay them through Cash App because I didn't have cash on me because I wasn't planning to go to a strip joint. And like their usernames were these like random letters and numbers, and on my financial statement it just showed up as Cash App payment to X57 whatever it was. But it was just interesting to me because Cash App also is like no sex work, blah blah blah. And so basically I got punished on Stripe for being too honest. If I had linked them to a totally, like I could have, linked them to my gaming channel or something like that instead to get through the paperwork, and then used it to sell the pictures, and then, hope they didn't notice or whatever, I probably would have gotten away with it. But because I was honest and said that I was going to use it on my Free the Nipple website, where I can't even post stuff for free, as complained about in previous vlogs, I was gonna try to sell some artistic nude photos, because how else, I have no way to make money. I can't even post stuff for free, let alone monetize it. It's a whole other thing I'm tired of repeating. But yeah, so I got punished for that. So just thought that was, fun times. It's also just so funny that they kept like tweeting at me like, oh, we decided to, we reinstated your account, but then they're emailing me that they kept the ban, and it's like, so they're trying to do damage control because I tweeted about it, but they're not, excuse me, but they're not actually undoing the ban. And I mean, they say like no quote unquote adult content, which somehow means nudity and female nipples, but not guns, etc., etc. So I guess if you know of any financial transaction businesses or whatever that are not going to ban me for artistic nude photography, I can look into it. The ones that I have looked into take huge cuts, like even 40-50% of each sale, and or they they are very unreliable. Like there's all these reviews of them just like stealing people's money and everything like that. Like there are, as far as I can tell, there's no really reliable but non-crazy dishonest, based in a third, not even like a tax, unregulated tax country with no working customer service line, etc., etc. Which makes sense, because I mean, beggars can't be choosers. But it's just wild to me because, like, this country, sex workers have been in business in every country throughout human existence, and some countries get it. I mean, I don't think there's really any country that's really on the level of treating sex workers, as people. I mean, Amsterdam is theoretically, like one of the ones that people think of with legalized prostitution or whatever. But certainly technology-wise, like all the banks and all these social media platforms and everything are so anti-sex worker, and somehow sex worker includes non-sexual motionless female nipples. Ask YouTube, what is intended for the purpose of sexual gratification even fucking mean? Which, note about that in just a second. But yeah, sorry, I'm tired. So yeah, speaking of the what is the purpose of YouTube sexual, dear YouTube, what is the purpose of, oh my god, I'm tired. So after I filmed that vlog yesterday, I got an idea for a new community project where we workshopped the hashtag Dear YouTube Define Sexual. I'm happy to change it if you can think of something more catchy, but basically it's a short form for Dear YouTube, define what intended for the purpose of sexual gratification means. Because that's what they say in their rules about what they ban, is they say they ban anything intended for the purpose of sexual gratification. And so to contrast this, on Twitter, because Twitter is the only major platform that allows topless content or whatever, and also allows hardcore porn, because I can only post topless, female nipples in places that allow hardcore porn. I took screenshots of like so many videos all over YouTube, many of them with millions of views, that are undeniably intended for sexual gratification. I mean, of course, you've got like Megan Thee Stallion, and I forget the other rapper's name, but WAP, Wet Ass Pussy music video, where there's like one where she's like in leopard print with nipple tassels, opening her legs for the camera. Anaconda by Nicki Minaj is another one I think of a lot, where she's like deep throating a banana. Use that for my if I use that for my still frame for this video, I'd get banned. Oh my god, I'm being sexual. And yet, as I was just saying, screenshots on my Twitter of topless men strip dancing. Like, you want to see hundreds of clear examples of YouTube not following their own alleged banning anything with the purpose of sexual gratification, just go on YouTube and search topless male stripper. Oh, but they're male, so it's not meant for sexual gratification. Fucking same old shit, right? Okay, anyway, I gotta go to bed. If you want to help me show the hypocrisy, I made a page for it. Go to toplesstopics.org/dearYouTube. And if you know of any financial vendors that will not ban me for trying to sell artistic nude photography, let me know. I'll look into it. If it's too much of a hassle, I'm just going to not sell the photos, because, I mean, I don't want to get scammed just trying to, like, raise a little bit of money for my website. And if you're wondering why I need money, it's because I have nowhere to host my uncensored videos, for reasons that I detailed in previous vlogs. But basically, I'm trying to figure out how I could set up self-hosting. And guess what? Self-hosting costs money. Costs oodles of money. And since I can't sell photos, and I can't even put my videos on free sites, let alone monetize them, like, how the fuck am I supposed to make money to pay for the self-hosting? So, same old shit. And then also, I'm really going to try to start making my FAQ videos soon, obviously when I'm not sick anymore, where basically instead of doing one long video where I answer like every question I can think of, I'm going to do parts. So it's like, I'm going to try to keep each one under 3 minutes, which is going to be really hard for me. But, I'll have like a little intro video, and then it's like each question, I'll have a little video just for that question, and then put it in a playlist or whatever, so people can just skip to the question that's interesting to them, and I can add new questions as people ask them or whatever. Put that on my little FAQ page, which I've just been neglecting forever. And, the fight continues. A less insane person would have taken the L and just given up on this whole fucking fruitless challenge the patriarchy, we want the same rights as men escapade. But I think we've proven that I am not mentally stable enough to know when enough is enough, and I should just let that fetid bog of failure and I'm too tired to think of a nice poetic metaphor, but yeah, I'm stupid for trying, but we'll see if this video actually uploads. Thanks. Go to bed. Good night. Oh, and I forgot that I had to go get Aiden early from daycare today also, because he was just having a huge meltdown and everything, so the punches in the face continue.